and welcome back to Cuckoo for Books. My name is Salva and today I'm going to be doing my Mibf 2018 book haul. This is only the second time in my life that I've ever attended the Manila International Book Fair. A bunch of my friends were part of this panel on international publishing. They had giveaways. Once you registered, you got 3 free books. My friends lent me books, so from the panel alone, I already had a bag full of books, so I'm gonna start with that. So this one I'm going to start with, I'm super excited about. It is The Dark Descent of Elizabeth Frankenstein by Kiersten White. This is an ARC. JM, who blogs at Book Freak Revelations, gave this to me. It is supposed to be released on September 25. So when I saw this in JM's book bag, I was like, ooh, that's nice. And he was like, dude, you can have it. And I'm like, really? So thank you, JM, for this. I don't know much about it, except that it's by Kiersten White, who I love, and it's a Frankenstein retelling, which intrigues me. Hopefully I'm gonna be able to read and review this before the book comes out on September 25. The next book I got was a freebie from the panel, and it is by Max Brooks, and it's the Zombie Survival Guide. It says it's from the New York Times bestselling author of World War Z. I never read the book, but I did enjoy the movie, so this might actually be something I might read and flip through. If not, I will lend it to my comic book friends, but maybe I'm gonna take some time to skim through it first before deciding to give it away. Another book I got from JM is Mirage by Sumaya Daoud. Sorry if I just butchered your name. This is also another ARC that JM gave to me, but I believe the book has already been released. JM said he lent it to me because it's royalty and it's fantasy, and he was like, that reminds me of you, which is not completely wrong. I do love royal books and I do love fantasy books. From what it seems, it's sort of a princess and pauper-ish kind of story where this girl looks like royalty, so they switch places. I'm really excited to read this. I think it's also Eastern high fantasy, which I always feel like the world needs more of. The next book I got was another freebie from the panel, and it is Wildlings by Eleanor Glue. First when I got it, I was like, probably not gonna read that. And then I read the summary, and then I was like, oh, I might actually read that. So it's about a pair of twins. One grows up magical, one does not grow up magical, and the non-magical one is exiled. That sounds pretty interesting to me, dude. Another book I got from the panel, I think it's so generous for the organizers of the panels to give us all 3 free books just for registering. I doubt I will ever read this one. It is a manga sampler. I know exactly who to lend this to, but personally I don't think I'll ever read it. They also did a raffle at the end of the panel where they would draw numbers. You know how a raffle goes. Why am I explaining to you what a raffle is? For my raffle prize, I had to laugh. Of all the books I could have gotten, I got God Is Not Great, How Religion Poisons Everything by Christopher Hitchens. I mean, I'm not really into religious material at all, from one end to the spectrum to the other. I'm definitely not into books saying God is not great. I'm not trying to preach or anything, but it's just not up my alley. Last book I got from the panel was The Silkworm by Robert Galbraith. If I'm not mistaken, this is actually J.K. Rowling's pen name. Crime, adult crime, not up my alley, but it is up my aunt's alley, so I might lend this to her. Next up are my books from the National Bookstore's Book Binge Bazaar. I've never attended one of these things in my whole entire life. I didn't know what to expect. So apparently you go to the Book Binge Bazaar and books are hecka cheap, insanely so. I got Obsessed by Alison Britt's A Memoir of My Life with OCD. This is exactly the book I would love to write someday if I'm brave enough. As it stands, I don't even think I'm brave enough to read this novel by itself. It might hit a little too close to home, but I was like, you know what, I'll save it for future reference. I'll buy it. It's 175 pesos for a hardcover. For now, it's gonna go into my shelf of books about OCD that I'm too afraid to read for now, but I'm really glad I got it. Next up, I got Mirrored by Alex Flynn. I've only ever seen hard copies of this in stores, and unfortunately all my Alex Flynn books are in paperback, and for years I've never found a paperback version of it until the Book Binge Bazaar. If you don't know, Alex Flynn writes all these fairy tale retellings set in the modern day era. She's done retellings on Sleeping Beauty, the famous Beastly, which was made into a movie. She's also done Rapunzel, I believe, and one about the evil witch, and this one, I guess because it's mirrored, might be Snow White. The next book I got was Simon and the Homo Sapiens Agenda by Becky Albertalli. Some of you might know this book as the movie Love, Simon, and some of you might know that the author is coming to Manila in November for a book signing, and ever since that was announced, I was like, oh shoot, I gotta catch up. I gotta buy all their books, I gotta read their books. Thankfully, this book was at the Book Binge Bazaar for 125 pesos. From what I gather is that there's a risk of him being outed, so he plays into this guy's plan to prevent himself being outed. I've heard nothing but good things about this author. The The movie has also been something I've been really interested in, so it'll be nice to sort of read the book before I watch the movie. So this next book was a sort of like, I'm gonna buy it to force myself to read the book before it. It is The Rose and the Dagger by Renee Ahdieh. This is the second book in the Wrath and the Dawn series. The books are a retelling of Scheherazade. Scheherazade was, I think it was from 1001 Arabian Nights, where there is a sultan or a king who every night kills a new bride. So she volunteers to be his next bride. She starts telling stories and he's like, oh no, I can't kill her because her story is so dang interesting. So that's how she keeps herself alive. This was actually the first book I saw at the Book Bench Bazaar and I was like, I gotta get that! Saving the best for last, guys. I got Tower of Dawn by Sarah J. Maas. 175 pesos for a Sarah J. Maas book, which usually goes like 900. That's insane. From what I gather, this happens at the same time as Empire of Storms, but because this takes place in another location, the stories weren't merged. So this is about Nesrin and Kaol's story. I still have not read Empire of Storms, the second to the last book of the Throne of Glass series. I hope to read Empire of Storms and Tower of Dawn before Kingdom of Ash is released, which is like, good luck to me. And that about does it for my MIBF 2018 book haul. You can follow me on my other bookish adventures on Twitter and Instagram, both at Cuckoo for Books. Please subscribe, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye, guys!